Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you share your home with a Norwegian forest cat, you already know you aren't just dealing with your average house cat. You're managing a majestic, large breed feline with this massive, dense double coat. And that brings up a really important question right off the bat. Is that generic bag of premium cat food sitting in your pantry actually addressing the unique, heavy-duty physical realities of your Norwegian forest cat? Or are you kind of just hoping for the best? Today, we're going to unpack a comprehensive review to find exactly that out. This is the core problem we're tackling here. Norwegian forest cats, or NFCs, have completely unique dietary needs. We're talking about massive seasonal shedding, distinct physical development timelines, and highly specific grain sensitivities that most off-the-shelf premium foods just do not solve. If you've been dealing with mysterious digestive issues or lackluster coat health in your cat, you might be feeding them a high-quality food that is, well, fundamentally mismatched to their breed's biology.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our agenda. We'll cover NVC dietary needs, do an ingredient breakdown, explore the Live Clear advantage, talk about the drawbacks, look at the Royal Canin alternative, and finally, give our final verdict.
Section 1. Solving NFC dietary sensitivities. To really understand this, we have to remember that NFCs are these massive, slow-maturing cats. They actually take up to 5 years to reach their full 6 to 9 kilograms. That is a huge athletic frame. When you add a grain sensitivity to that large breed equation, you typically see 3 major signs: loose stools, a persistently dull coat, and excess shedding well beyond their normal, already dramatic seasonal blow. For owners trying to manage these symptoms, this Purina formula is a highly searched alternative to traditional breed-specific foods.
Section 2. Breaking down the ingredients.
Let's look past the marketing labels for a second to verify exactly what's inside the bag. Looking directly at the verified ingredient panel across multiple current production runs, turkey genuinely leads the list. It sits proudly right ahead of chicken meal and pea protein. But honestly, what's just as important is what has been completely removed from this formula. There is absolutely no corn, no wheat, and no soy. In feline nutrition, those 3 ingredients are the most common triggers cited in grain sensitivity discussions. By making one switch to this formula, you're effectively removing the 3 most likely culprits for your cat's digestive and skin issues, all at the same time. Now, check this out. Purina Pro Plan's sensitive skin guarantees a 40% minimum crude protein floor. When you compare that to Hill's Science Diet Indoor, which sits between 31 and 36%, or the Royal Canin NFC formula at just 30%, the difference is massive. Why does this matter? Well, maintaining a 6 to 9 kilogram highly active athletic frame requires serious lean muscle support. That 40% protein isn't just a random number, it's functional fuel for a big cat.
Section 3. The Live Clear allergen advantage.
We all know NFCs produce a breathtaking amount of loose undercoat, carrying allergens right into your home's air and all over your furniture. That's where this number comes in. Just let this sink in: 47%. Purina's published research reports that the LIV Clear variant of this food achieves an average 47% reduction in the FELD1 allergen protein. That's the primary protein responsible for human allergies to cats, and it's present right there in the cat's hair and dander. This isn't just some marketing buzzword for a basic probiotic. It is a documented functional reduction in airborne allergens. For a household with mild cat allergies managing an NFC's massive shedding volume, this is an absolute game changer. But you gotta keep in mind you aren't gonna see these results overnight. According to community reporting and research, if you switch your NFC to this food, you'll typically see firmer stools and reduced digestive upset by weeks 2 or 3, as those trigger grains actually leave their system. Right around week 3 of daily feeding, that 47% allergen reduction begins to take effect. Now, coat improvements, those take a bit longer, usually 4 to 6 weeks. And to be totally honest, it can be really hard to separate those dietary coat improvements from the NFC's natural heavy seasonal coat cycling. Section 4. The drawbacks for your cat. Now, what's really interesting about this is that as amazing as the protein and allergen controller, we have to acknowledge this is a sensitivity formula. It's not a breed-engineered formula. Because of that, you're missing out on some custom engineering. There is no large breed jaw kibble geometry to encourage proper chewing, there's no targeted fiber system designed specifically to transit massive hairballs through the digestive tract, and there's no L-carnitine added to help with large breed weight maintenance. You really have to ask yourself, are hairballs and chewing mechanics your primary concern, or is it digestion and allergies? Furthermore, you really need to keep an eye on the fat content. Notice how Purina sits at a surprisingly high 18% minimum crude fat. That's higher than Royal Canin at 16% and significantly higher than Hill's Science Diet, which tops out around 14.8%. If your large Norwegian forest cat is already showing signs of post-maturity weight gain, maybe they're getting a little lazier in their older years, portion control on this Purina diet is absolutely critical so they don't pack on unhealthy weight.
So let's clearly delineate who should skip this formula altogether. If your NFC is currently overweight, skip it. The fat content is just too high. If your primary daily battle is cleaning up hairballs off the rug, skip it. You need a targeted fiber system. And finally, if you have a kitten under 12 months old, definitely skip it. This is strictly formulated for adult maintenance, not for the complex growth needs of a massive breed kitten.
Section 5. The Royal Canin Alternative. If you found yourself in that skip category just a second ago, the decision between Purina and its biggest competitor actually becomes quite simple. Purina Pro Plan Sensitive Skin is entirely focused on solving grain sensitivities and neutralizing environmental allergens. On the flip side, Royal Canin Norwegian Forest Cat Adult is entirely focused on hairball management and physical breed engineering, like kibble shape. It's pretty binary. If grain is your enemy, go Purina. If hairballs are the enemy, Royal Canin is purpose-built for that exact battle.
Section 6. The final verdict. So, the crucial point is, based strictly on how this food interacts with Norwegian forest cat realities, using the rigorous scoring system from our source review, Purina Pro Plan Sensitive Skin earns a very strong 8.1 out of 10. That is a highly respectable score that cements this food as a top-tier choice. However, that high score comes with a caveat. It's a fantastic choice for sure, but only if you're trying to solve a specific set of problems.
To summarize our final verdict and exactly what you should take away from this explainer, here's your ideal candidate for this food. It is absolutely perfect for an NFC with a suspected or confirmed grain sensitivity. It's a total lifesaver for households trying to manage human cat allergies using that 47% live clear reduction. And lastly, it's great for highly active adult NFCs that can truly utilize that massive 40% protein floor to maintain their muscular frame. Before we wrap up, I have one incredibly important buyer tip for you that you need to pay close attention to. If you decide to purchase this, you must double-check the bag. Purina sells multiple different sensitive skin and stomach SKUs. Some are turkey, some are lamb, some just have different packaging. But only specific versions carry the Live Clear technology. If allergen reduction is your goal, you have to confirm you are buying the exact Live Clear variant, or you'll miss out on that key benefit entirely. And that brings us to our final thought. The data is clear, the nutritional profiles are laid out, and the choice is ultimately in your hands. So I'll leave you with this question to evaluate your own cat symptoms. Is your Norwegian forest cat struggling more with grain sensitivity and allergies, or are shedding hairballs the real daily nuisance? Figure out that answer, and you'll know exactly which bag of food belongs in your pantry. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Catch you next time.